Three Families always number one. Brisbane's 96.5 heading into the weekend, maybe thinking about a career change. Joining us this morning is career expert Michelle Gibbons. Michelle, good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Now, a lot of us have had different career path changes. Myself, I have as well, earlier in my working career. And I think a lot of us in this day and age see a lot of change and maybe move into a brand new career path, either out of our own sort of volition, or maybe it sort of happens by, the circumstances.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And, if you look at the way the world is changing, the pace of change, I often say to people, you can't future-proof your role. Roles are going to continuously change. What you can do, though, is future-proof your career. And it's really understanding what are the steps you need to put in place to make sure that you've got a long career and that you're prepared to make the steps to get you to those and through that career.
Michelle, what are the things we need to consider? I mean, put someone in place that's maybe had been made redundant, or, for example, thinking about maybe they're not happy in their role, maybe thinking about that change. What can you recommend?
One of the key things is to really know your value proposition. And by that I mean, what are the skills that you bring to it? And not just technical skills, but behavioural or leadership skills. And understanding, where does that put you in the market? What sorts of roles can you go for? Because when you're going for a role, you need to really be able to clearly articulate to people, what value am I bringing to this organisation? Why am I the person in that role? And so when you know your value proposition, you're much more easily able to position yourself effectively and to sell yourself when you're in interviews.
All right, so it's about pretty much knowing what your value is and how to sell yourself effectively.
Absolutely. But also understand, why is that something that the organisation that you're targeting, why do they want that? How are you going to help that organisation grow and be successful? Because when you're in a role, you're there to do something, to deliver a task and deliver something that's going to help that organisation. So how is it that you're the best person to be able to do that?
Michelle, how important is networking?
Oh, look, networking is crucial. I always say to people, networking can have that kind of almost a negative connotation. People see it as artificial, not very genuine. And when you network, it has to be done from a basis of a genuine interest in getting to know people and to build long-term sustainable relationships. So many roles these days aren't advertised. And it's your network that can help connect you with people, can help you understand what even is out there, what's available, what possibilities might exist. Because if you think about it, if you've started in one particular role and you've been doing that for some period of time, you may not be aware that there's a whole raft of other opportunities out there. If you've got a very broad network, it will help you, one, discover those opportunities, and then two, discover whether you're the person who might be the fit for that opportunity.
We're creatures of habit. I mean, getting out of the comfort zone, that's got to be important.
Look, absolutely. It's interesting. I often say to people, if you're not feeling uncomfortable, you're not learning. And one of the key things around having a successful career is continuing to learn. And pushing yourself outside your comfort zone is a sign that you're learning. And that learning are things that, are broader than just the particular area that you're in. I often say, look to the left and look to the right of the role that you have and expand your horizons, because if you're in a particular role which is quite technical, there might be something that you need to understand about leadership, or maybe you need to understand the industry better that you're working in. All of that knowledge will help you find your next job, but also be successful in the current job that you have.
Michelle, what else would you recommend?
I think sometimes it's also about suspending expectations. If I look through my own career, the expectations perhaps that my parents had of me and what sort of role I was going to do and where I ended up were quite different. And often we can absorb the expectations of people around us. We'll do a job or do a role because we think that's what someone wants us to do. But perhaps our real desire, our passion and our interest lies elsewhere. So really having courage to follow what you see as the career path that you want to follow is really important. And yes, that sometimes means you need to be prepared to take a risk. You know, if I look back when I started my company a number of years ago, there was a risk in that. You know, I was leaving a very safe corporate job where I was earning, you know, good income. And there were a lot of people around me who went, oh, it must be slightly crazy. You know, why are you doing this? But I knew for me, I'd reached where I wanted to get to in my corporate experience. And I now wanted to do something different that was going to stretch me and challenge me, but also feed my love of learning. So yes, I did all that. I took myself to my kind of outside my comfort zone, and I pushed myself, and I took a risk doing it. But I was following something that I knew I needed to do.
With all this in mind, I mean, how important is it to keep a healthy focus?
A healthy focus in terms of, you know, the mind, the body and the spirit is really important, because so when you're going through change or setting yourself up to experience a change, the healthier you are in terms of both your physical fitness but also your mental fitness really helps. And so exercise, meditation, mindfulness practices, all the things that you can do to practice self-care is really important, because it just puts you in that better position to be able to cope with the ups and downs of change. Because when you're making a career change, it's not easy. And as I was saying before, there's a risk attached to it, which means, you know, sometimes you'll have those days where you scratch your head and go, oh, why did I think this was going to be a good idea? But you work through it because you've got the fortitude and the resilience to be able to do that.
Well, we're certainly going through, the world's certainly going through plenty of change. Maybe you are as well. Some handy tips there. Joining us this morning is career expert Michelle Gibbings. Michelle, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
96.5's Turning Up